1-9, Nick Ross and Jill Dando.
Nearly midnight, almost the witching hour, but as the phone lines close here tonight, we have some very interesting developments to report. On the stabbing of Herbie Williams at the bus stop in Vauxhall, South London, one name has been mentioned 7 times. A huge response as well to the rapes, which happened 6 years apart, a number of leads there and a number of names.
There are 3 actions tonight going on right now into the murder of Julia Webb, a murder that made news headlines about 6 weeks ago, and a killing that's very hard to understand. She was last seen taking her family dog for a walk in Sandiway in Cheshire.
Chris, are you awake? It's nearly dinner time. Your mum's not back yet.
No, that was the son who eventually found his mother dead. Peter Rigby, a lot of calls, and I mean, the interesting thing is you've been really excited about the content, not just the number.
I have. I feel I can smile now. We've had over 70 people ringing us. It's overwhelming, and I'd like to thank the public for their assistance.
Most of these from the area, even though it's had a sort of saturation coverage in the area up to now.
That's right. Certainly the likes of the walking stick, we've had numerous calls about
This
its
is an
origin.
elderly man who was seen with a very distinctive walking stick, very, very close to the murder scene. You needed to eliminate him, find out who he was.
That's right. Hopefully we're nearly there to do that. Certainly where the stick was made and a couple of names put forward who the owner of that stick may be.
There were 2 cars you wanted to eliminate, or at least their drivers.
Most calls that we've had this evening are connected with the Silver Orion, and again we've had names, local names put forward of owners of these vehicles, and the Cavalier as well. 2 particular calls that came in about the Cavalier, identical in content, and hopefully as a result of this programme...
Giving the same name as the driver.
That's right.
Oh, well, we should stress, we don't think these are the murderers, these are elimination.
These are for elimination purposes.
And a guy who was seen running across a field nearby
right.
at about the time of the murder. That's actually a very interesting sighting.
It is, yes. We've been given a name about a particular individual there, and that will be looked at in due course.
Okay, it's looking quite promising.
Thank you very much.
Well, next, the mystery surrounding the death of Charles Anderson. He was found crushed to death by a bus in a cul-de-sac in a village near Chelmsford. Well, Chris Booth, you've been quite excited, I think, by the calls that you've received this evening.
That's right. Whilst we haven't heard from any direct witnesses, we have had some names mentioned to us.
And I think 2 names have been mentioned twice, you were saying.
That is correct. What I would ask now is to stress that all calls to the programme are in strictest confidence. And in no way will the details of the callers be revealed to anyone.
So you've had a number of anonymous calls giving significant details, but you can't take it further if they don't give their name or telephone.
No, and we do need to get back to people to make further inquiries so we can progress the inquiry as a whole.
Now, we wanted to know if Charles had been on the bus with anyone else on the route that he took. Any calls on that?
We haven't had any calls regarding the route of the bus.
Briefly, could you remind us of the route of the bus? It was the Monday the 15th of June, wasn't it?
That's correct. The bus was stolen from the bus depot in Duke Street in Chelmsford, then travelled down Covell Lane, Waterhouse Lane, onto the dual carriageway, the A1016 towards London, then into Roman Road, Margaretton.
All between 11:15 and 11:30. Well, let's hope you get success.
Thank you very much.
Mixed reaction to our video appeals tonight, starting with the most promising case, the Royston jewellery deception. 17 callers have rung in, and the same name has in fact been mentioned 6 times, so that looks really good. West End chauffeur deception, several names suggested for the white-haired man, including one from a prison officer. Then the Arab jewellery switch. Well, we've had several sightings in the Oxford Street area from other jewellers, but we still need to know who these people are. The Wrexham deception, 22 calls and 2 possible lines of inquiry, so hopefully good luck there. And the hooded Arab gunman, 5 calls so far. 1 looks promising, but as with all these cases, please keep ringing you if you still have information.
Well, let's now look at these 2 rapes by the same man that was separated by 6 years. One in Brentford in Essex in 1992 and the other in Bermondsey, South London, 6 months ago. There's a particular concern about these attacks because other women may have been assaulted in the time in between, but perhaps they haven't reported it to the police. Well, Chief Detective Superintendent Lee Weavers, you've had a number of calls, I think, from potential victims, haven't you?
Yes. I mean, first of all, I want to say I'm very grateful to everybody for ringing in. We've had nearly 200 calls. About a dozen of those are from potential victims, and 2 or 3 in particular are very serious. It's obviously taken people a great deal of courage to ring in, and I'd like to urge anybody else who's out there who may have some information to ring us tonight.
So what about names of any suspects?
You've got a number of those as well, probably about 15 to 20 now. And people are continuing to ring here directly and using the 0800 number.
Let's just show those CCTV pictures again from South Bermondsey Station on the 9th of March between 7:25 and 7:40. I think you just want to identify some of these people.
Yes, we've not had too many people responding to the CCTV, and we do need to eliminate these people. We know they were in the area at the relevant time, so we'd urge people to look at them carefully and to contact us.
And briefly, we'll just see the e-fit and the artist's impression of the attacker. There we are, 1992 on the left and 1998, quite similar actually on the left.
Yes, and again I'd highlight the features. There's a 6-year gap, different witnesses, different techniques, clearly significant points.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, now the studio items. First, William Tutty, wanted for deception. Well, we've had 6 calls and they're being followed up now. Bob Cummins, that 70-year-old, sought in connection with indecent assaults. 40 sightings all over the UK, one in particular that gives us a specific location that's being looked at. Then George Fawcett, 6 calls. One tells us that he came back on a ferry yesterday, having towed a caravan around Hungary for 3 months, so he could still be with that caravan, so look out for that. Welsh Pool and that theft from the church, well, 2 men we were seeking there. 13 calls, hopefully unlucky for them because we've got leads and names to follow up there. Then Fife car thief, that's now gone up to 9 calls, again with names to be followed up, all in the right area. And lastly, 14 calls on that Banbury fly tipper. Hopefully we'll have a result there because we've got video of the truck on a road in Kent now to add to that particular case.
In our case, we've got 7 people giving the same name and well over 300 calls. Perhaps this is the reconstruction. In fact, it must be the one that caused the most anguish to viewers tonight. That of a good Samaritan who tried to calm down a disturbed passenger on a London bus. Maybe the agitated man was mentally ill. At any rate, when the helpful traveller left the bus, the passenger stabbed him to death. Mike Petra, I mean, this, by Crimewatch standards, is, well, it's not a record number, but it's almost a record number, a fantastic number of calls. 7 people with the same name in the right area of South London where the bus was heading?
Yes, indeed, in the right area. Very hopeful. It's being researched as we speak. But other names as well have been mentioned. All of these will be researched in due course. I'd just like to thank everybody who has rung in giving us this information. It's first class.
It's looking very, very promising. But you needed to trace 23 passengers on that bus in the middle of July who saw the stabbing, presumably didn't think they needed to come forward to the police, and you still haven't got any of those to ring in tonight.
Despite what's happened tonight, these people are essential to the success of this investigation. Every man, woman that left that bus walked past the body of Herbie on the pavement. And I do ask once again for these people, please, please give us a ring.
Mike, thank you.
Our lines here in the studio are closed now, but you'll see other numbers coming up in a moment. They're also listed on CFAX on page 621. If you're on the internet, you can reach us at Crimewatch UK at the BBC. That's CWUK at bbc.co.uk. If you've been the victim of a crime and you'd like someone to talk to, you'll find support line numbers on CFAX page 621. And if you've any information on any crime, you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously if you like on 0800 555 111.
Do join us a month from now, Tuesday, October the 6th. And before then, in 2 weeks' time, watch out for Crimewatch Still Unsolved. Major cases with new clues that detectives are convinced viewers could still crack. And in the meantime, you can surf us on the internet, all tonight's cases, and a great deal more on the World Wide Web address bbc.co.uk/crimewatch. From now on, any criminal on Crimewatch will be featured around the globe. So unless we're seeking you, don't have nightmares. Sleep well. Good night.
Good night.